Hi, I'm quickly going to show you some good shooting technique. So first up, you want to look at your feet. They need to be slightly apart, about shoulder width. One foot a little bit in front of the other. I take the arm that I'm shooting with, that foot's slightly in front, and then I just want to be able to have a nice little bounce. Next thing for our shot is we want to create a 90-degree angle in your elbow. It needs to be 90 degree because we're going to try and have create a big arc when we shoot. We don't want it down like this because that means you're going to push your shot forward, and we want the shot to go up. So we're going to have 90 degrees. Next thing is we want your elbow to be nice and straight in front of you, pointing towards the basket. We don't want it out here because we're going to end up shooting that way. If our elbow's in, we're going to be shooting the other way. So we want the elbow pointing forward to where we're going, and then in. We don't want it hanging out here, or so straight in front of you. 90 degrees. Got a little bounce going. Ready to shoot. When we shoot, our arm is going to come up, up, and at the very last minute, just as it comes up, you flip your wrist, kind of sending the ball off, waving goodbye. When you take your shot, like that. Okay, so when you want to practice your shot, you don't even need a ball. You just practice coming down, getting your elbow in front of your body, up, just like that. Okay, next thing, if you have a ball, you don't need a basket to practice your shooting. You can just grab the ball, pull it up in front of you. The ball is sitting on your fingers with a little gap between your palm and the ball. And when you do it initially, when you practice shooting, you can just have your ball, if you can have it in just one hand, you can just practice getting your bounce, getting your elbow in front 90 degrees, and then just practice shooting up and then waving it goodbye. That's all you need to do. You don't need a basket or anything, just practice that motion. This hand, when you do your shot, is just there to support so the ball doesn't fall off, and if your hands are not that big yet, just to help you again keep a grip of the ball. But it doesn't shoot, it doesn't influence the shot. As soon as you take your shot, it falls away. It's just there to come up and away. Okay, so now we want to start practicing shooting using the basket. When you start practicing your shot, you don't want to start way out, because if you go out, you're going to start throwing your elbow and stuff to make the distance in. You want to work on your technique. You want to start close to the basket, and you want to think about your technique. If you doesn't make a shot, don't worry. Just keep thinking about your technique. So you stand in close to the basket, get your 90 degrees. It's a little bit tricky because when you have it here, you actually can't see the basket in front of you. But okay, so I've got my 90 degrees ball on my fingers. I put this up to support. I stretch my arms and do my waving goodbye to the ball. So I just want to stand here, get the technique right. When you're shooting, when you're all ready to shoot, every time you shoot, you should be looking at the same spot. So some people, they like to look at the back of the ring, some people like to look at the front of the ring, some people like to look like right in the middle of the basket. You need to try and find a place that you like to look every time you take your shot, and when you get ready to take your shot, looking at the same spot. When you practice shooting from the side of the basket, come over here, Stina. When you're standing at about 45 degrees to the basket, you want to practice using the backboard. Okay, whenever we're 45 degrees to the basket, whether we're close or we're far away, we want to try and use the backboard because it's there to help us. Okay, you can see this little black rectangle on the board. You want to try and hit it up kind of in the top corner, and if you remember to do your nice little waving goodbye at the end there, it should drop every time. So you do your shot again, 90 degrees, got the ball lying there, coming up, waving goodbye, and I hit the ball just above the corner of the black rectangle. You hit it there every time. You'll have a couple of drills. What you can do is what I call around the world. So you start parallel to the basket, and you do maybe 3 shots from here pretend I did 3. Then you go to the 45, so you're at an angle with the basket. Do 3 shots. Whoops. Do 3 shots from here. And that was only 2, but pretend it was 3. Then you go up to the elbow. Remember, again, you don't want to be too far away when you're practicing. But if you come out further, the further you come from the basket, you don't change your shooting technique. What you change, if you need more power, is you change how high you're jumping, because your power comes from your legs. So the technique still needs to be the same. And you come out, do 3 from the top, come from front of the basket, do 3 shots. 1, okay, and do 3. And then the same on the other side, from the elbow, come to the 45. Again, when we're at the 45, we're using the backboard. And then lastly, parallel to the basket. And you can do it close, you go around the world. If you make most of your shots, take a step out, do the same thing.